Columbia. They're all dead.
Coming up next, this report on radioactive lingerie, the women who wear it, and the tragic results. But first, please welcome Mr. Sid Vicious.
Bowling, bowling, bowling. Exterminate! 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 Exterminate!
We're the weirdest of the weird. We don't like your hippie beer. We're the loudest of the loud. We are wind. We are proud.
That was Laughing Lewis's record, Knocking.
I say we know the true way of the greatest God. I say your sexual practices are deviant. We love the flesh, even as we burn it. Ah, the sweet smell of burning flesh.
I can really relate to that.
The Lillingtons.
Oh, yeah.
Believe in the boogeyman. Rue Morgue Radio, the world's original all-horror broadcast.
Tale unfolding in mystery and ending in an all-consuming revelation of terror.
Welcome, fiends and fiendettes, to Rue Morgue Radio, the weird world's best damn horror show with me, as always, right here, your host and master of disguise, Tomb Dragomir.
This is a man in a dog suit. He is a member of a radical underground organization. Notice his uniform, the artificial celluloid tongue, the flappy cotton ears. Notice that he has no hair on his forearms or hind legs.
Strange but true. This week on the broadcast.
I think I must have been about 10 and my dad arrived back home with a VHS player which for some bizarre reason came with a copy of The Wicker Man.
A fable of unclean deeds and unholy places.
Director of I Sell the Dead Yet, Glenn McQuaid returns. Yeah, our Blood Spattered guide has the music from LIFEFORCE, and the Caustic Critics are taking on Peter Jackson's Lovely Bones.
Put a tomb in the middle of your house.
Don't be afraid.
Ooh, tunes in our musical stew this week. We got some Dead Man's Bones, a little Hazelwood, some Sharks, a little Squid Lid, and tons more fun to come on Rue Morgue Radio. So why don't you stick around, you clown?
I allow the dish to stand by itself with a basket of hot, crusty rolls and butter.
Crusty rolls. Hey, here's the Pack A.D. Wolves and Werewolves on Rue Morgue Radio. Tune in, turn on, drop dead. Let's go.
Wolves and werewolves, baby, scratching at your door. Say there's wolves and werewolves, baby, scratching at your door. I think I fed them earlier, I don't know what they're here for. The horses, they've got the fright on, it don't matter what you do. The horses, they've got the fright on, it don't matter what you do. Well, they're gonna trample all the chickens, then come on in after you. Got the rabbit and the gun, and a popsicle too. I got the stars and the fire, and a blanket for you. Got the horses all saddled up, and I'm ready to go. And the only thing you say to me is the answer is yes, but no.
This is Twitch Cuvier of Rue Morgue. Hi, this is James Fisher of Nightmare Picture Theater and the Disfigures of Speech. Good evening. This is Zuckerfish and Squid Lid, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
You won't like it. You'll be very afraid. You're in trouble now.
Big stupid dinosaurs that don't look very real. JoJo, the human hot plate. Looking up Cheryl Teague's dress, and much more after this word from our sponsor.
A Nazi legend.
I was 12 when he came to our farm. He needed blood for the ritual, so he froze us in time like this.
A stranger in search of power.
When you rule the blood, death is no longer the end.
And a stone that would make him invincible.
What is that out there?
We had him contained until he came here. We're all going to pay for this now.
Just tell me how to kill him.
Blood Creek, on DVD January 19th.
Hello, this is Larry Fessenden, director of The Last Winter, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio. One job turned us from body snatchers into ghouls. Ghouls. A body snatcher will steal the dead, but a ghoul will steal just about anything. Dead or other. Time was when a corpse didn't do much. Just laid there. Not so anymore.
Well, I mean, surely to God, a corpse is a corpse is a corpse. What harm is one to anyone?
Plenty, if it has a good mind to.
I see.
No, you don't.
I think I do.
Father, if I've learned anything over the years, it's that you never, ever trust a corpse.
Just stop the f***ing spitting.
Alright, so first of all, what is the state of the Church of Satan? I was going to ask you about Wes Craven and now I'm ashamed to.
Les Messman style.
Possibly the Antichrist. Like a zombie character on Sesame Street. All of a sudden it seems so irrelevant. Continue.
I speak nothing but the fucking English language. And if that's infamous, then tough titters.
Alright, this is feedback with part 2 of my interview with filmmaker Glenn McQuaid, the director of I Sell the Dead, which is on DVD right now, courtesy of A.K.A. Glass Eye Pix is a whole community. Could you talk about Glass Eye Pix and what that community is like?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a nucleus of artists all circulating around Larry Fessenden. You know, and Larry's a bit of a legend. He's just a really generous talent. He's definitely my mentor throughout the project. I mean, making movies for the love of it. No one's making any money at the moment, but we're really just in it for the love, you know. And I think there's something special about New York and East Village, New York, where we're all just trying to make it work. And it's very productive bunch.
Talk about the music of the film. It's an elaborate score.
Yeah, I listen to music all the time. I have a fairly eclectic taste, you know, and I actually listen to a lot of soundtracks. And, you know, I had the pleasure of working with Jeff Grace, who's worked with Larry. He also did the score for The Last Winter. And he's worked with Ty West on The Roost and also Triggerman. So Jeff knows his stuff. During prep, we were sitting down and with a bottle of wine and checking out some scores and kind of not dissecting them, but figuring out, you know, why we responded to them so well, you know. And I'm a huge fan of John Williams and Ennio Morricone and Angelo Badalamenti. So by the time we wrote any music at all, we were really on the same page. You know, you get the boisterous nature of the flick, you know, and with some of the performances, the music has to be bold. It's got to be big, you know. So we basically just sat down and Jeff wrote some stuff and, you know, we tweak a little and eventually we'd be in the studio with brass and winds and strings, and we even went and got a saw player and a whistler, you know, and tried to include some sort of out instrumentation that would add another level to the score, you know.
So I was really surprised to learn that this is your first feature. What is it in your background that gave you the vocabulary, the skills, and the insight to be able to achieve such an accomplished-looking film?
Well, first of all, thanks very much. My background is in, you know, graphic design and animation. I suppose for the past 10 years, that's how I paid the bills. But before that, I was part of a theatre group in Ireland called the Dublin Youth Theatre, and from there stemmed into some other theatrical groups. So I have a fairly big history in Irish theatre. And I think that helped a lot working with the actors. I think some of the actors were a little surprised I wasn't glued to the monitor. A lot of my time on set really was just being with my actors and standing just close to them and seeing the performance and stuff. So I think there's a part of me that hopes I'll become sort of an actor's director. And I think that there's even moments in I Sell the Dead where you can see that it's almost stagey. There's moments in the movie where it feels a little theatrical, where I'll hold on a master shot for as long as I can, just because I love performance, you know. I love really seeing...
There's actually, now that you mentioned holding on the master shot, there's one great scene later in the film between Dominic Monaghan and Ron Perlman. Actually, Dominic Monaghan, he's great in the movie, but you just can't take your eyes off Ron Perlman. He uses that brilliant head of his so well. It's so fascinating just to watch him. So I was glad, like, that was an instance where you let the master shot play out, but you've got this incredible performer on screen who's just so magnetic.
It is my duty to write for the purpose of announcement and later for printing your final words, so that others drawn to the wayside may take heed in your cries of guilt and pleas for forgiveness. It's also my duty to inform you that you are to be executed by way of beheading.
Yeah, Ron was just a gem to work with. You know, he was just got off of Hellboy 2 and came to our very, very scrappy little production and was a trooper.
One rule: don't touch my stuff.
Oh, I get it. That's your rule. Oh,
one and only. I'm easy. Come on, kids, you can come out now.
You know, he didn't complain once about our lack of amenities or whatever, and, you know, just came in and, you know, knocked the ball out of the park. Very cool guy, very old school actor. I was very, very proud to work with him.
Will you make more horror movies, you think?
I hope so. I mean, this is, you know, I grew up with them. I think I must have been about 10, and my dad arrived back home with a VHS player, which for some bizarre reason came with a copy of The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man, a fable of unclean deeds and unholy places.
I shouldn't have been allowed to watch. I don't think I was allowed to watch it, but I managed to see it.
Listen, if it was the remake, you wouldn't be in this line of work right now, right?
I'd be floor laying.
You'd be a plumber.
Oh my God! Christ!
There was just something about the intrigue of horror that I caught onto when I was very young, and my dad, when he was still living, we just would watch horror movies all the time. I grew up with watching Peter Lorre movies like The Beast with Five Fingers and The Wicker Man and Amicus, and for I Sell the Dead, I wanted to channel that work, and I don't think the movie's really got a contemporary bone in its body. I mean, I feel it's pretty just an out of time kind of oddity of a film, and that's hopefully, you know, gives people a break from whatever's going on in their lives for an hour and a half, you know.
For more information about the DVD release, go to www.isellthedead.com.
The Controversy, the National Enquirer, April the 5th, 1977. Quote, in a desperate cover-up, rock star Rod Stewart tried to buy The Wicker Man, his girlfriend Britt Eklund's film. Rod wanted to keep the flick from ever being seen. Well, The Wicker Man will be seen. The Wicker Man has been resurrected.
A market stole a suitcase on his knee. Second-hand rings are speciality. Street corner, he stands, taking your money with dirty hands. He gets by the only way he can. Well, what's the use in him being poor when he can steal from the dead? They don't need it anymore. More than curiosity, gold teeth and jewelry. A businessman and no one's for his need. What's on your mind? What do you find? When the lights are low, grab that shovel, off to work you go. Before the morning light, twist and pull those golden crowns, take them home and melt them down, shine them up and sell them in the town. What's on your mind? What do you find? When the lights are low, grab that shovel, off to work you go. Grab that shovel, off to work you go.
Grave Robber the Sharks on Rue Morgue Radio. Now it's time to put on our little fancy space helmets, fiends, and fly off into the future and see what's going on in the wonderfully wacky world of horror. Hey Shannon, what's happening?
It's a good thing that Toon got this job here at Rue Morgue Radio, because if he didn't have this, seriously, he's about as useful as a Betamax video recorder. In fact, I think he still uses one too. They've moved on to CDs now, DVDs, stuff like that too. Move on. Not even VHS anymore. Hey everyone, I'm Shannon and I've got what's happening horror-wise from around the world. Never thought I'd use Betamax on one of these. Starting today, January 22nd, and running until February 21st, is the Hammer Horror Show at the Opus Art Gallery in the UK. The gallery delves into the Hammer Horror archives and features posters from some of the Hammer Horror greats, many of which will be available to buy. The exhibition runs from 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Go to opus-art.com. Cult filmmaker Frank Henenlotter is back with Bad Biology, and it'll be hitting the DVD shelves on January 26th. There will also be a few DVD signing events February 5th in Seattle, Washington. The Bad Biology DVD signing event with Frank will be at 7 p.m. Following that will be an 11 p.m. screening at the Grand Illusion Theater. Then on February 6th in Los Angeles, California, there will be a DVD signing event meet and greet with Frank, the effects artist, as well as the main star. Following that will be a special screening as well at the Silent Movie Theater in downtown LA. And because February is Women in Horror Month, the Women in Horror Convention in honor of Bay Area Women in Horror will be held February 27th at 1:30 to 6 at the San Francisco Center, 1800 Market Street, San Francisco. It's a one-day only event, and it is absolutely free to attend. If you know of something that's going on horror-wise, send me an email, Shannon at RueMorgueRadio.com.
Hey, yeah, thanks, Shannon. Yeah, one of your best columns ever this week. Oh, yeah.
Nah, I've heard better.
Betamax. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one of them cell phone telephones, though, I'll tell you that much.
Can I borrow your cell phone telephone?
I just said I don't have one.
Sir, you forget yourself.
I do not.
Shut up!
You shut up. Oh, what the hell, man? That's it. I'm out of here. I'm going.
Going? But a captain can't drink without his first mate.
You can drink with me, maybe?
Yeah, I don't feel like drinking.
Then if you'll excuse me, I see some ravioli that only has 2 shoe prints on it. 3.
Her eyes were once so full of dreams. Her young heart filled with lovers' schemes. Now every second she must borrow. They take her life tomorrow. Is she guilty? She says no. The girl on death row. Now someone holds her trembling hand. Another says, please understand. Why can't they see it in her face? Another should be in her place. Is she guilty? She says no. The girl on death row. Her young dreams never will come true. Her innocence they never knew. Until they found the guilty one. They're sorry now for what they've done, but it's late, too late for the girl on death row. The girl
This is Toby Hooper. I'm here at the 2008 Festival of Fear, and you're listening to Rue Morgue Radio.
Can you still hear me? Can you get into his mind? Her mind? Now with his drug, it's like a wall. Perhaps you've given him too much.
Listen, you bitch. I'll keep you in this state for weeks if I have to. Now you talk to me.
Carlson, be with me.
What do you want from me?
I love you.
What are you? Why are you so human? So perfect? What are the bird creatures on the ship?
Our bodies are unimportant. As you and your men approached in your ship, we changed them for you. We entered your minds and found their new bodies. I took my shape from your mind. I took your language. I became the woman I found there in your deepest thoughts, your deepest needs. I am the feminine in your mind, Carlson.
The night is my domain.
Hello, I'm Liisa Ladouceur. I'm your Blood Spattered guide to music on Rue Morgue Radio. This month, it seems everyone's talking about vamps in space. And why not? That new film, Daybreakers, is one of the most fun and unique twists on the Nosferatu tale I've seen in a while. I think you should support it with your theater dollars. It's got some of us thinking about an older film that put vampires in space, 1985's LIFEFORCE.
From the director of Poltergeist and the writer of Alien comes a terrifying new film.
As the trailer will tell you, that came from the director of Poltergeist, Tobe Hooper, and the writer of Alien, Dan O'Bannon. It also boasted two very famous composers, and it's the music of LIFEFORCE that we'll talk about today. The LIFEFORCE score is credited to two men, Henry Mancini and Michael Kamen. Mancini, of course, is the jazz guy. You know him from everything, especially the theme from the Pink Panther. Before he was an Oscar winner, though, Mancini worked for Universal Pictures on creature features like Creature from the Black Lagoon and Tarantula.
Even science was stunned. The new atomic miracle should have been mankind's greatest boon. Instead, when such power to cause phenomenal growth proved dangerously unstable, man was confronted with his most shocking blunder. A blunder that transformed a tiny insect into the 100-foot spider that was now ravaging the panic-stricken countryside.
So when he was brought in to make music for LIFEFORCE, everyone believed Mancini would do a great job. And he did. He wrote over 1 hour and 40 minutes of orchestral majesty, much of which got chopped up.
Columbia. The ship's completely gutted.
Oh my God.
Houston, we have a problem.
And when they asked Mancini to come in and fix a shorter version of the film, he said no thanks. Producers brought in Michael Kamen. He was a young composer who'd worked with David Cronenberg and Terry Gilliam, and they said, make it scarier. So he added his own cues, and a mixture of this went out into the universe.
Occupying 1/6 of the entire visible horizon. Our viewers may be interested to know that comets were once considered to be harbingers of evil, and that one of the earliest words for comet was disaster, which in Latin means evil star. And it may indeed be an evil star for the deep space probe Churchill. There's still no word from Her Majesty's government as to the fate of the crew, whether they're alive or dead. We can only await further developments.
Sadly, the movie-going residents of Earth did not flock to see LIFEFORCE, but it has remained a cult classic, and so has its score. Fans have been picking up different versions of it over the years on CD, cassette, and vinyl, but none of them have been satisfactory. Fans wanted all of the music, all of Henry Mancini's score, both used and unused, all of Michael Kamen's cues. In 2006, they got their wish with a deluxe limited edition version released by the creatively named label By Soundtracks. It's still out there for $30. You can find a link to it from RueMorgueRadio.com. Let's play something from the LIFEFORCE soundtrack for the men who made it and are no longer with us. Henry Mancini died in 1996, Michael Kamen in 2003. And of course, the writer Dan O'Bannon left us last year. For them and for you, this is the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra playing the theme from LIFEFORCE.
I discovered there is life after death.
How do you know?
There is a certain mental transference, telepathy that occurs between the vampires and their victims. Rather a nice touch, don't you think? The crypt of kings and queens.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are.
Here I go.
Lots of shows still to go, fiends, so stay tuned. Here's the Dirge Carolers.
Zombie Llama.
Go Zombie Llama, go Space Llama, go, yeehaw!
I was wallowing in my pain, feeling lower than a sidewalk stain. Something happened really drove me insane. Zombie Llama tried to eat my brain. Zombie Llama. Llama in my brain. Zombie llama in my brain. Zombie llama in my brain. Not exactly night of living dead. Something more like Satan's bomb instead. They wanna chew on my sweet bread. Zombie llama in my brain. 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 Santa Maria's. She's been drinking far too much sangria. Can't get She might wind up dead. Zombie llama hiding beneath her bed. Zombie llama in my brain. Zombie llama in my brain. Zombie llama in my brain. Zombie llama in my brain.
Dirge Carolers on Rue Morgue Radio. We salute another fallen soldier in the punk rock graveyard. Yeah, Reatard died last week. Born Jimmy Lee Lindsay Jr. in 1980 in Missouri, Reatard died at the ripe age of 29 at home in his bed, found by a roommate on January 13th around 3:30 in the morning. The situation surrounding Jay Reatard's death is a little cloudy. He was said to be suffering from flu-like symptoms, and the Memphis police had even opened up an investigation as to the possibilities of foul play. Reatard was buried last week with his trademark Flying V Gibson guitar, which is pretty cool. And we salute you, Jay Reatard, another one gone too soon. Here is the late Jay Reatard on Rue Morgue Radio.
I know you are afraid of me. Don't fear, my dear, and you will see. Relax, 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 my little victim. Relax, 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 my little Hitler. Relax, 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 my little Taker. Relax, 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 my little Flame. I know you're hiding everything. You've locked the door and ate the key. Relax, 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 my little victim. Relax, 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 my little Hitler. Relax, 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 my little Taker. Relax, 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 my little Faker. You got nowhere to hide, and you got everywhere to die, and you got nowhere to hide, and you got everywhere to die. Inside, inside, it sleeps so deep. Gonna need to hug things close to me. Relax, 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 my little victim. Relax, 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 my little Hitler. Relax, 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 my little Taker. Relax, 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 my little friend. To watch them choke, it makes me breathe. To watch them choke, it makes me breathe. And you've got nowhere to hide, and you've got everywhere to die, and you've got nowhere to hide, and you've got everywhere to die.
The Caustic Critics are coming right up after this commercial announcement.
When's your test?
I don't need one. From now on, I control all aspects of the game.
You feel you have control, don't you? You think you will walk away untested?
The Jigsaw Killer may be dead, but the murders continue.
When all this is done, you know what to do. Who else knows about me?
Everyone.
Saw 6. Get it and the original Saw feature film when you buy Saw 6 on DVD while supplies last.
Hi, this is Peter Jackson. I hope you enjoy this exclusive trailer from my upcoming movie The Lovely Bones, starring Mark Wahlberg, Rachel Weisz and Susan Sarandon. here on
Rue Morgue Radio.
The Caustic Critics.
Controversial. Unrelenting, it's brutal, it's nasty.
Sensational.
The worst of the worst. Offend everyone equally.
Bowling.
They're real.
The stuffed shit scrapes off the bottom of its shoes.
They're mean. So what was the actor's name? Oh God, what a plank he is. They're here.
Are you ready? It's time for the Caustic Critics. They're here.
Alright, this is feedback. Now, before we get going today...
I can't introduce myself?
No, you can't yet, because I have something to say.
That's more important than my name?
It is vastly more important.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody who wrote in to win the Buffy the Vampire Slayer prize pack. We got an absolute avalanche of responses. If you won, you will be notified via email. For the rest of you, well...
Go suck an egg.
Of course, you can hear that Lance is in the studio.
Yes, I am here.
How about that?
Are you glad to have me back?
Actually, I prefer it when you weren't here.
Boom. Roasted.
Oh, that's horrible, man. Listen, here I was off getting poked and prodded by doctors who were putting needles into my skin and into my lovely bones.
Oh, what a ham-handed segue.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because the movie we're talking about is called Lovely Bones.
It certainly is.
Didn't even put that together.
By Peter Jackson, who's actually one of my favorite filmmakers.
Even after this film?
Boom. Roasted.
Especially after this film.
Okay, I'm glad we did not talk about this beforehand.
You are gibbled, say. You are gibbled.
You know why? Because I'm not a 14-year-old girl, or a 28-year-old girl, or a 48-year-old girl. That's why I didn't like this movie. It's a chick flick.
Well, elaborate on that then.
I wasn't into the book because it was a book that was for chicks, and I'm not into the movie because it's a chick movie.
That's such a blunt kind of testosterone clouded 100% perception of this film.
100%.
Hey, Mom! Look at me! Smile!
My name is Salmon, like the fish.
Okay, shipmate, take it away.
First name, Susie.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Susie. You are beautiful, Susie Salmon.
I was 14 years old when I was murdered.
It's the same reason that I wouldn't go see a movie like Thelma and Louise or whatever. I would not go see this. And I love Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's a great director, but I didn't like Thelma and Louise. Peter Jackson's a great director. I did not like this movie.
First of all, this is an adaptation of a book by a woman named Alice Sebold.
What?
Say what? Neither of us have read the book.
Well, let's talk about what the movie's about.
Well, let's talk about what it's about. It's about a young girl in the 70s.
13 years old, 1973.
Like 14, 13. Whatever. She gets killed by a local pedophile.
She doesn't just get killed. Yeah, she gets raped and murdered, though the rape and murder is more hinted at than you get to see it.
I didn't need to see anymore.
It actually would have helped this movie. I'm sorry,
maybe it would have helped you and your perverted sensibility. Basically, she dies, but she doesn't go to heaven right away. She gets locked in this weird limbo.
In-between place.
Yeah, this weird limbo dimension.
Break, man.
Grandma, Susie's in the in-between.
I wasn't gone. I was alive in my own perfect world. But in my heart, I knew it wasn't perfect. My murderer still haunted me.
That was just a Peter Jackson excuse to have some weird special effects, which is like the only part of the movie that I kind of liked. And then I was just like, you know what? This is too much.
You're completely wrong. You're completely wrong. What's interesting about this is, as intimate as the tale is, Peter Jackson can't let go of this epic, grandiose storytelling, and he brings that to bear in this film, not just in the fantasy sequences, which are phenomenal and visually imaginative beyond belief.
Were they stunning?
They were stunning.
Visually stunning?
Excruciatingly stunning.
Reggae coming up.
But the whole style of the film is so hypnotic and so mesmerizing. There's some masterful filmmaking here. Seductive music by Brian Eno, and the whole thing unfolds like a dream, and there's some tremendous sequences. The sequence where, I don't want to get into too many plot spoilers, but there's a moment where somebody breaks into the supposed killer's house. That is phenomenal film.
Only because it was extremely tense and extremely
tense, but so skillfully rendered. And there were so many instances like that. I thought the performances were good. I thought the whole tone of it, yes, maybe it borders on the maudlin, but that's where you've got to kind of adopt a point of view.
Oh, I don't have to adopt
14-year-old
anything, man.
girl. But you have to. Because it's from the point of view of a 14-year-old girl.
I saw the movie.
You need to empathise with characters beyond the bull-headed, male, testosterone-induced Neanderthals that you are.
Here's the message that I got from this. When she is in the in-between world with all these other girls who have been murdered and stuff, I'm thinking...
You're just ruining the whole plot.
That's not the whole plot. That's just That's a part that it made it look like that this guy actually did them a favor by releasing them into this place where it's all ice cream and puppy dogs.
I want to go to there.
What is the meaning of this movie? What is fucking happening in this movie? And I don't want to empathize with a 13 or 14-year-old girl. I can't.
Is it too threatening to you?
It wasn't threatening. It was unnecessary. And the idea of what he's presenting to this, not really Judeo-Christian heaven, and because they weren't even in heaven, they were in the in-between place, as she liked to call it, made it look like a place that every 13 or 14-year-old girl who perhaps is having trouble at home or getting bullied would rather be in than to be at home going through the mundane, maudlin life that they are experiencing right now. I would hate to think that this movie might be sending out messages to people of that age, telling them, yeah, you know what, you're bound to get fucking murdered and raped anyway. Why don't you just end it now and you get to go to the place where it's all puppy dogs and ice cream and, fuck off. I will give you this. Peter Jackson is a skillful director, a masterful director, and he's great at surrounding himself with people who do their jobs extremely well. But it wasn't a good movie. Perhaps if I was younger, I would like it, but I'm not. In fact, I'm going to be 43 on Sunday, man.
Go to hell, you old bastard.
I'm as far away from a 13-year-old girl as I can possibly get without a restraining order.
I'm almost speechless, which is a good thing because we're out of time. So until next time, this is Feedback.
And this is Last Chance Lance.
Here we come. I like that music.
Is reggae your favorite?
Oh yeah, I like reggae.
Rue Morgue Radio. Now you will die.
It's a wolf! A wolf! Don't let it get me! It's a wolf!
Brave, blood-sucking werewolves that will scare the pants right off you.
What are you kids watching?
Tune in, drop dead.
It's a wolf! A wolf! Don't let it get me! It's a wolf!
Ships. My heart's a prisoner to my ribs. We're flesh and bone when we're all alone, but together forever we'll live. He filled my heart. I did my best. But without the sun, I'm only shadows in a dress.
'Cause if the full moon comes, our love is done. So forever towards dawn, we run.
Dead Man's Bones and Fiends. We're out of time. Thanks for listening to Rue Morgue Radio this week. In the meantime, you can stalk me on Twitter at Twitter/Tomb Dragomir, Dragomir.
Twitter tracker! It's a tongue twister!
While you're at it, send me your music. I'm music deficient right now. I'm dying of lack of new music. Keep me alive, send me your tunes. Rue Morgue Radio, 2926 Dundas Street West, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, M6P1Y8. Is there time tune? Yeah, there's time tune. It's the A.K.As. Thanks for listening, fiends. We'll do it again next week right here. Until then, adios.
Beneath these feet, underneath the thick concrete, there used to be a sandy beach, but no one will ever know. Days like weeks, patiently we plot and scheme to bring you to your knees with hearts pinned to our sleeves. Flowers used to grow beneath the paving stones. Valentine days, Halloween nights, these are supposed to be the best days of our lives. Now we're stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle. Valentine days, Halloween nights, these are supposed to be the best days of our lives. Now we're stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle. These are supposed to be the best days of our lives. These are supposed to be the best days of our lives. These are supposed to be the best days of our lives. These are supposed to be the best days of our lives. Valentine days, Halloween nights, these are supposed to be the best days of our lives. Now we're stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle. Valentine days, Halloween nights, these are supposed to be the best days of our lives. Now we're stuck in the middle, stuck in the middle. Valentine days, Halloween nights.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Listen, if it was the remake, you wouldn't be in this line of work right now, right?
I'd be floor laying.
Damn right.
You can drink with me, maybe?
Yeah, I don't feel like drinking.